welcome to day 3, session 8. It is the men's 96 kilograms and men's 102 kilograms. The big boys are coming out now and they've got plenty of weight to lift. There is 15 lifters in this first session and it's going to be very exciting throughout this whole day. Session 8 coming up very shortly. I'm going to step out the way. The big boys are coming through in just a moment's time.
Right, well then everyone, let's get into session 8, men's 96, men's 102 kg weight class. Round of applause. All right, welcome to the 2020 Junior and Senior Olympic Weightlifting National Championships supported by TECT and Tauranga City Council. We're about to get underway with session 8. 96 and 102s. We'll introduce our athletes and the live stream will be getting started. All right, athletes representing PR Barbell, Cam Ergit. Representing Palmerston North Weightlifting, Reno Hangai. Representing Waikato Weightlifting, Carl Davies. Local boy representing Bay of Plenty Barbell, Jaden Buckley. Representing Papatoetoe Weightlifting, Kastab Chabon. Representing CCW, Douglas Sakone Fraser. Representing Otago Weightlifting, Robert Jordan. Representing 3216, Kyle Turvey. Representing North Sport, Leslie Chisholm. Representing Strength HQ, Kitini Taihuka. Representing 41 Degrees, Devin Glover. Representing Papatoetoe Weightlifting, Waia Funaki. Representing the Canterbury Strength Institute, Aidan Zhu. Representing Strength HQ, Alex Farmelo. And representing Papatoetoe Weightlifting, Timothy Vakuru Ivalu. Those are the men of the 96 and 102 kilo weight class. Good luck, fellas. Your 10-minute clock has started. Can we please have our officials to the platform? We have our officials to the platform so we can introduce our officials. Thank you, officials. Okay, our center referee. Our center referee for today is Paul. Our side referee is Robert Spencer. Our other side referee is Kelsey Chapman. Our technical controller is Jody Mason. Our records insert sitting next to me is Nerily King. On tabulation out the back in the heat of the battle is Declan Ward. Our marshal is James Grieve. Our time controller is Matt Dyson. And I am Ray Everest. I'm your announcer for this session. Thank you very much, officials. Thank you, mate.
Okay, just a few housekeeping items. The first thing is please make sure you're checked on the COVID tracing app. There is no smoking. Emergency exit is behind the audio-visual table. We need to evacuate the doors and unlock. Automatically in the places across the parking lot near the benches. Do not run towards the fire. Toilets are located in the foyer for spectators next to the cafe. There are some upstairs also. The toilets inside the arena are reserved for athletes and volunteers only. The last time you want to be taken in USB and someone's in there picking it up. The cafe is open. There is good quality coffee right there and food. There are also food vendors on the outside. There's a very good fruit ice cream truck. before and after the lift. We'd like to thank our sponsors for putting on this amazing event, helping us put on this amazing event. The sponsors are, platinum sponsor is Tauranga City Council, our key funder is Tech. Our silver sponsor is Ray's Lower. Matt and his team are over there. You can see big Matt over there waving out. Matt has got all the gear over there. If you need a new belt, wrist wraps, SPD sleeves, anything you need, go and see Matt, go and try it on. And get yourself cleaned up for your lifting. We'd like to thank our bronze sponsors, Temp and Tauranga, Eco ICF, Rubber Max NZ for our awesome warm-up area. Foundation, they are providing massages with them. Good looking people over there at Foundation. Go and see them. And even if you're a spectator, go and get yourself a massage. Look at the other stuff. It's the weekend. We'd like to thank Solid Drink, Hardest Tauranga for the flow of the stage and for the warm-up area. Pacifica Papamoa, Baby, Benefits, Surf and Birdview. We are 6 minutes and 20 seconds away from Pops and Star. It is important that you like to share the live stream. You can find it on the YouTube channel when you get today. Put it on skysportnext YouTube channel. You put in skysportnext weightlifting, all the sessions will come up. You can share it on Facebook. We really appreciate it when you share it on Facebook. We've got the expert commentary over there of Dave and Richie Patterson, come gold medalist. And new tattoo owner after last night, I believe. We'd love you to share that. It's important for us and live on in your Facebook memories every year.
Some people might want to. Right, yeah. I was going to say, that's what you would think that's.
Well, welcome along to this day 3, an exciting competition so far. Richie Patterson, this has been fantastic, great venue, some great lifts as well, and great competition. You've got to be really, really happy as, I guess, one of the organisers of the event, of the National Championships so far this year.
Yeah, it's been pretty smooth sailing for what is effectively our largest Olympic weightlifting nationals in our 81 years of history, so it's been a fantastic 2 days. We've had records from under 15 through to masters. We've had Oceania, Commonwealth records. We've had tight battles. We've had crucial last minute wins. We've had spectacular failures. It kind of comes all to the stage. So it's been good 2 days, and we'll tidy it up today and wrap it up with the bigger lifters as well.
Well, certainly, Richie, yesterday, really impressed with the crowd that came through. Yeah, we were sort of inflated a little bit from the junior volleyballers next door who came in and had a little look, which is actually good for the sport of weightlifting, so that people who perhaps hadn't seen the sport before were getting a little taste as well. But there was a big crowd as we got into the afternoon, and some really good lifting as well. And we can see now in front of us we have the starters, 15 starters for the 96 and 102. Is there anybody in particular we should be looking for here?
We'll have a really strong battle for that title. You can see Douglas Saccone-Fraser and Robert Jordan have very tight opening attempts. I wouldn't be surprised to see Cam Urquhart at the top. He's a ex-New Zealand representative making a progressive comeback, so he might push them as well.
Well, Robert Jordan, just checking on the ages there, he is, according to my reckoning, as I quickly scanned down, the oldest person there, 1986. That's getting on a little bit in weightlifting in the nicest possible way. No disrespect there, Robert.
I was in my last competition. I was looking at my scoreboard, and I was 1983, and the next person I think was like 1997.
Oh,
so he's not too bad.
Calling
in the
you
mix.
dad.
There's a few low 90s and a few 80s in there, so he's not out of place.
And what about we're looking at the 102 category, down the bottom, sort of half a dozen lifters. Anybody there in particular that stands out that we're familiar with? Anybody else there?
See, Ua Funaki, he's got some good opening weights. He seems to be clear of the field with that opening weight, but then we've got Kitane from Strength HQ. He's a talented junior athlete, which may push some bigger numbers.
So what can we sort of expect? We've got our snatch initial lifts there starting from 95 at the present time, which no doubt will go up for some of the others there as well. We look at the clean and jerk, even just looking across there already. We've got numbers at 145 and upwards 150. We're starting to really move up a bit, aren't we?
Yeah, it's nice to get above those 150s. You'll start to see the two reds and a blue come onto the plate with 165, so we'll start to see a bit more of that over the next few sessions.
Well, even as we move into session 9 and then finally session 10, session 9 is the women's 87 and women's 87 plus, and then later on today 109 and 109 plus for the men. We're going to be seeing lifts of 200 plus, do you think?
In the 109 plus, we have David Leety, who is personal best clean and jerk, I think, of 230 kilos. So that'd be a good one to tune in to later today to have a watch.
That session starts from 2 p.m. for the 109 lifters for the men. So tune in for that one, or check back on the highlights. They'll be on YouTube and also go down on Sky later on as well. We have certain dates for that. And we're getting underway in about 1.5 minutes here. But as you heard, Richie Patterson, former Commonwealth Games lifter and medalist, in fact, gold medalist, and discuss some of these lifters here. We're starting at 95, and it's that Reno Hadid coming out very shortly. And we're just looking at the back and checking there, a little bit of a lift just on the lighter weights, just to keep moving and keep flying. We've got some relaxed people at the back as well, a few coaches there. Who have we got out the back there? Richie.
Far side, Tina Ball.
Yep.
You'll see all of her athletes with Define Your Strong on the back of their t-shirts.
Right.
Directly in front of us, this looks like Richard Wong,
Yes,
assisting with Aidan.
He's our tough judge as well, isn't he? Richie Wong, when he gets out there, no one...
Red Light Richie, they call him.
Oh, that's nasty.
He holds you accountable for everything.
And one of the coaches there from Christchurch, isn't
That
he?
is Caleb Barr with his beautiful bowl haircut.
You're giving him heaps on that, aren't you?
Well, I believe he came in to the barber specifically and said, I would like a bowl.
Well, that's one of the few
And it
people...
looks like they gave him a bowl.
Exactly. All right, well, showing his particular style there.
Fee Norton, Waikato Olympic Weightlifting. Must have an athlete out the back as well. So we've got a good mix from across the country, and we've had massive growth in the last year of our clubs. I think in the last 3 weeks we've had about 4 or 5 new affiliated clubs to Olympic Weightlifting alone. So you'll see a number of different abbreviations for the teams up there. That means they're all from different areas and different clubs. Here's our first lift.
All right, and we have the coaches there. It's Simon Kent, and our first lifter, it is Kastab Kavan. Let's see what he's from the Papatoi Club, I believe. Yes, he is. And 95 kgs. And Richie, no problems there. All 3 judges approve.
I have a sense of relief because my dual role is the technical system worker, so when I see the white lights go off and work, I get a little sense of relief at the start of the session.
Exactly. And if suddenly you do disappear, anybody's wondering why, maybe just to reboot a system or kick a system into gear.
Yeah, we've just been trialling a new system that's a full online system, so they all talk to each other, but sometimes, as most of us that work with internet, it kicks itself out and I have to run around and relog everybody back in.
Well, so far it's been pretty good over the last 3 days, and you've got to be pretty happy. When you do trial a new system, there's always that concern. And already we're moving up to 98 kgs. There was a set of 95, but we're up to 98 already. And coming out now, Kyle Turvey. There we go. looking, waiting. It's pretty good too. Just took his time there in the initial lift.
It's a pretty good opener from Kai. He's got a listed competition personal best of 100, so it's a pretty confident statement to come out 2 kilos under your best.
Particularly on your first lift, you're pushing it.
So that'll give him a good opportunity to now exceed his best on his second attempt, I'm sure.
And did we just see Jodie Mason? Was she looking at the belt there of one of the competitors?
So Jodie is the technical controller out back, and you've got to have a certain measurement of a belt, and it can't be over that. So you'll see Jodie walking around with a small ruler this morning, making sure everybody's keeping within the range of their belts.
So 100 kgs, already we are moving up from the first weight, which was 95, now 98, now 100. And who have we got coming out now? Richie, Reno?
Reno, yes, first attempt. Good strong opening attempt there from Reno.
So technically he did pretty much everything right?
Yes, he did.
Road left. Strong opening.
Reno has listed that he is a builder, so carrying over a lot of that workplace strength onto the platform.
This will bring Devin to the platform.
All right, and as we come up now for our next athlete, and that is Devin Glover, listed as Devin Glover coming out. And at times we do change quite a lot between the lifters. Sometimes there's a few games being played as they move up and down different weights. And Devin Glover at 100 kgs, first lift. So you can hear all the competitors in the background in their warm-ups, and just a few last minute words. And here we go. First lift of the competition in the 96, make that 102 kgs, and his target is 100 kgs in the snatch. Checking on the chalk. Fairly relaxed, walking up to the bar. Well, after his balance, correcting his balance, came through very nicely in the end, and he's pretty pleased with that as well, because that is 100 kgs. A good initial lift there for Devin. Now moving on to the next athlete. Nice lift there, 100 kgs, Richie. As we move on to checking out the back, a lot of the athletes already, a lot of the lifters already moving up significantly from their initial weight that's listed.
A little bit of interesting information. I've just got to make sure I get my information correct.
Hang on, who likes alpacas out of these lifters?
Nobody likes alpacas out there, but Devin, who just took that previous lift, background in underwater hockey.
Oh, okay. Well, New Zealand was the world champion in that sport. Very hard sport to commentate on, I can tell you.
Yeah, and it's a very different sport, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Not.
Well, the breathing would be good, but yeah.
Devin's also a personal trainer, owns a gym called the Fitness Portal. I'll give him a shout out. Here we have Gustav, second attempt, successful with his first. So now rounds this up to 100 kilos, second attempt.
He's looking confident. He should be. And very pleased. Just checking out the menu. And manually, we get the thumbs up from all three judges. Sorry, no, we'll be going to 102. Just wait for that. And Richie, who is the team that's loading there? I see a few familiar faces.
We've got a couple. We've got Samantha Hansen, who was the national champion yesterday, her sister as well, and a couple of other members of the Strength HQ weightlifting gym.
Well, yesterday afternoon we seemed to have a few, I think it was a real Pacific community out there. We had a Tongan, a Fijian, and I think Simon Kent was saying Samoan out there, and they were having a lot of fun racing up onto the stage, and it was like a Formula One pit crew from there for a while.
There's when you have, I'll give you a bit of a background. Sure. So at the Olympic Games, it's quite a prestigious position to get onto the loading team.
Right.
So for the Beijing Olympic Games, I can't remember the exact number, but I have a feeling they had hundreds of teams trial for the loading of the barbell. So
that's
and they had provincial competitions for speed loading. And the teams that were the fastest made it to the next round, and eventually you had your Olympic loading team.
That is
effectively
fantastic.
A full Formula One loading team.
That's great. So you have to, as your practice, as your training, run with a weight or weights and load them on quickly and safely. Fantastic. On to our next lifter now. And Alexander up there.
It's a good strong opening attempt.
Good lifts. Alex, loaders 102. This will bring to start.
So
he's a junior and senior as well, Alex. Let's see how he does this.
Really powerful. Spends a lot of time off the ground. He has quite a heavy foot stomp, so you'll see quite an elevation of his feet off the ground.
And we're coming back to, we are going now to Carl Turvey, his second lift.
So this would be a competition best for Kyle. He has a listed best of 100. Opened very close to that at 98, so he's taken a traditional 5 kilo jump. Kyle is a physiotherapist.
And just the lifters just starting their way in. No one's really pushing it too far, although this is probably the lift so far, isn't it?
He'll be happy with that. Waits for the down signal.
Let's see the reactions afterwards. Hasn't given us a smile just yet.
The referees are awaiting a decision.
Yes.
It's a good lift. So that's a new personal best. Again, I got the relevant information. One, he's got a fantastic moustache.
Yeah.
And number two is that he loves Peter Andre. His
What?
first ever album he purchased was Peter Andre.
You are really coming up with the
I
information.
really hope that I got that right.
Yeah, you don't want to attribute that to the wrong person. It
No.
could be taken the wrong way.
That's really unique that he gave us that information.
I think so. Can you remember your first album?
Oh, I wouldn't have a clue. No. I was traditionally the kid listening to the top 9 and hitting the record button and trying to get it onto the cassette tape.
Oh, now we're telling the age. And we're moving now to Leslie Chisholm and his first lift. And here comes the team, the loaders. There's a lot of smiling between the loaders.
Please like and share our live stream. Support for us that we get that reach.
And we're going there with 105 kgs.
Thank you, loaders. Not quite as quick as Papa Toi Toi yesterday, but very
Oh,
good.
given a little bit of grief there
105
from Ray.
loaders. Loaded.
Not as quick as Papa Toys.
You watch them on this next lift,
Yeah,
they'll load
exactly.
that super
Oh, yeah.
fast. There's one thing about challenging a weightlifter and saying you got to do it better, they will do it better the next time around.
That's what we're looking forward to. And now we have coming out onto the stage. This is 105 kgs, and it is Leslie Chisholm, first lift of the competition.
Just out of North Sport Olympic Weightlifting at the Millennium Institute on the North Shore.
Convincing.
It's a good first attempt.
Tell me, Richie, North Sport, they've got pretty good facilities there, haven't they, with the Millennium Institute?
They do. They first opened up in 2000, as the name suggests, and one of the primary funders of that was the Avery Foundation, which is Graham Avery and family, and the son being Nigel Avery, putting a training facility in place to train through to the Sydney Olympic Games. That's a good opening attempt from Aidan.
So far, opening attempts have been successful for every lifter. That's going to push it up a little bit and maybe help everybody else with their lifts as well.
With the timing, when these first lifts are successful, the flow of the competition just gets going. Your timing in the back room is on point, so you find it continues momentum throughout the competition.
Almost too quick for some coaches. Would some coaches want it to be just a little bit slowed down, do you think? No, they don't mind?
Again, you just look at the birth date for that.
Right.
The older guys like it to be a bit slower, I think.
Yeah. And, a good lift there.
Only been lifting for 6 months.
Really?
Already snatching 105 kilos. And he's coached by Hayden Pritchard, who's not here this weekend, so he's got a different handler out the back. Some of the coaches weren't available this weekend, other commitments, and
What has been also, we've got to remember, we still aren't that long out of various lockdowns, and for some people to get away from either work or to get flights and to drive can be a little bit difficult as well. And that's where we do appreciate everybody from around the country, from coming in from Otago as well. It's not always the easiest place to get a flight to or get one flight to.
whoa, he had it, just lost balance.
So if we have a look on the replay, show me where that balance came in, because he looked pretty good for the first part of the lift.
He actually receives this pretty well, and then just the weight shifted back.
So is that a grip, or is it just a little bit?
No, just the hips swayed out. He landed, and then as he went to stand up, the hips shifted backwards, and that'll take your whole centre of balance out the back, and that's what happened. You see him start to move.
All right, and the pat on the back there from Simon Kent.
Gustav.
Pat on the back and a push out there. Give it a go.
Gustav has also given us some really good information that he right now is wearing Calvin Klein underwear. This is his words, not mine.
This is, well, we're getting a lot of info. Some we need to know, some perhaps we don't. Yes.
That's a good lift.
And let's wait for the approval from the judges, and there we are. That is 3 white lights.
So I'm just going to revisit that. He's written, it's under, do you have any pre-competition routines or superstitions? And apparently it has to be Calvin Klein. So if you ever want to put him off, you go into his bedroom and pinch them before his competition, because most of us as weightlifters, we have our routines, we have our rituals, and we have our superstitions. And if you know your opposition's superstition...
Yeah, I think what you're really encouraging there is possibly
Yeah, probably not. Okay,
Yeah,
let's move on.
let's not encourage that part. In the meantime, our next lifter is... Let's move on to our next lifter, and it is Alexandra Fablo.
Oh, he's got some fantastic information here for
I'll
me
go
as
on,
well.
let loose.
So, in the lead up to this event, Alex he lights candles and watches Elliot Alien's 2:46 world record in the dark. And he's 2 from 2.
Well done. You can totally understand that, though, just getting in the zone.
He has top secret personal bests that he doesn't wish to disclose in this. That's what he's... Oh, we need to log back in.
All right, a little bit of logging back in, and that means Richie Patterson just escapes for just one moment from giving us some useful, I'll put that useful in bold, information from the lifters who are in this 96 and 102 kg. And we await our, it's just a little bit of a blackout as such. So we're just logging back in. You can see the athletes there, the lifters, just taking their time. Maybe got a little bit longer than they need at the present time. And you can see Simon Kent, some of the other coaches and lifters. And there is Jody Mason over the desk and Declan Ward there on the computer. He's taking in all of the weights and all of the changes. Yeah, we're just... oh, look, is that Ray saying we're coming back here? And certainly a lovely day at Mount Maunganui. The beach was fantastic. We are indoors though, and it has been a fantastic occasion so far, with a big crowd yesterday and so far today coming in as well. And a bit of a technical. There we go. It looks as though we're coming back. And we can see now that our last lift was Alexander. No, we're coming back with Aiden Zhu, looking for 108 kgs, and our loading crew doing a bit of work with a smile as well. And there they are. There's some top lifters out there and doing some more lifting, albeit on the stage. And so Aiden Zhu coming up, 108 kgs. He's got the call. Looks as though we're back, and we are, folks. 108 kgs. Aiden Zhu coming back. He was successful with 105, and as note, we're moving again. Carl Turvey, you can see the movement straight away, even on the screen. And Carl Turvey is coming out again. And Richie Patterson really rocking that mo he is. Let's see what he can do for his third lift. It is his third lift of the snatch, so far successful. And going up in 5 kgs on each occasion.
This will be an all-time personal best from he's listed that he's done to 107 in training. He had the strength that took off.
It didn't seem to be too heavy in that extent.
Just if we look at the side on it, just a bit of a swing. It comes off his hip and he just swings across the shoulders. Once you start that horizontal kind of momentum across, it's hard to stop. It certainly displayed that he's capable of that in the future.
I think he can be happy that he achieved his personal best even prior to that lift.
Here's Devon. Devon's only been doing 6 months of official weightlifting. Strong as life.
And perhaps that is the inexperience coming through, because again, that weight didn't seem to be beyond his capabilities.
Yep, it's just left it slightly forward. He still gets another attempt, so he'll correct that. Weight certainly looks comfortable for him. Good height.
And was it where he set himself with his backside?
I think he does look like he's sitting quite deep and he's a little bit behind the bar. might be as what he finds comfortable and balanced. But if you just look when he receives it overhead, he just needs to get that bar sitting slightly further across the shoulder. This is Timothy, Papatoi Olympic weightlifting.
And Timothy Vaku-Valu, 110 first attempt.
Good speed.
Oh, just a little bit of a grimace there with his right hand, I think it was, but he was successful with the attempt.
Quite a tall athlete, but great speed under the bar. Gets it in on that extension and then boom, straight back in. You'll be happy with that for a first attempt. Yeah, he did pick that. He's got a bit of a sore wrist, I think. He puts it down. North Sport Olympic weightlifter Leslie, second attempt 110. I think he might be 2 from 2 by the look of it. Referee's decision.
Shaking with the, yes, we're good. A little bit of shaking in the arm, it didn't matter. I think it was the right arm.
He held the lockout. I can see what you mean by the shaking, but the elbow doesn't come out of that structural position, so that the rules, you can be unstable, but you just can't press it.
Well, that's good to know. So if his right arm on that occasion had a
elbow unlocked and then pressed it back up again, that would be a no lift.
Okay.
Here's Aiden's second attempt, 110 kilos. Canterbury Strength Institute lifter.
Pretty good.
I think he's happy with that. Yeah, he is. It's a good lift.
So, Richie Patterson, in your view, is there a couple of facilities that really stand out as clubs, that stand out with the facilities they have and the access to?
Well, there used to be. There were a couple of really well-regarded facilities because they got all the gear, but if we're looking at the national champions now in terms of lifting, it's well spread across the country.
Well, that's good. There's not one facility that is the facility that, gee, if you go there, you're going to get everything.
Yeah.
So good. Not quite there.
Unfortunately for Reno. He had a listed personal best of 106, so that was a big jump. Probably new territory, and I think maybe that was, we're going back to a replay of Aiden Zell rather than Reno. Reno had a quick change, but yeah, as I said, the facilities around the country, we're seeing a lot of now barbell clubs, because you can affiliate with New Zealand Weightlifting as a club. We're encouraging it,
yes.
And to become a barbell club, you've just really got to have the facilities to be able to train at. And
there's a certain standard?
Well, you've got to have the barbells, the Olympic plates, and a safe area and training times that you can train weightlifting. Now, that is, we've got 100 plus CrossFits in New Zealand now that are all capable of becoming affiliated weightlifting clubs, and we're starting to see those CrossFit facilities come through.
We're just seeing a little bit of surprise on the face there of Vakuruavula. Yeah, he saw his name or heard his name come up, which I don't think he was expecting that. Now we're seeing a few.
This is when the coaches are making some changes out the back, and your name might be called, but you won't be the athlete because your coach is just about to make a change.
Right.
it's sometimes quite good to let your athletes know that this is going to happen, because
That could have been a bit disconcerting. It appeared that
you
way.
hear
anyway.
your name, it triggers your, okay, I'm ready to
Yeah.
go. And then if it's not you, you have to calm back down again.
Yes.
So
It was just the look on his face there. Like,
Yeah.
no, I don't think I'm going next.
here's Alex, third attempt, 112.
No, not the finish that he really wanted there for 112 kgs for Alex, but didn't look beyond his capabilities.
I'm pretty certain he's been in that vicinity of weight before.
And we're starting off now with a new lifter lifted.
Carl Davies.
We haven't seen him yet.
I think he's going to make a change because he doesn't look like Carl Davies. This is Kitsune.
Yeah.
So the call is wrong at this point.
So yes, Kidney.
Yep, there's a change came through now.
So maybe we called that one just a little bit too early, perhaps.
So Kitsune is a New Zealand junior and youth representative, competing for Strength HQ under Tina Ball.
And 113 kgs first lift. Looking pretty good.
That's a good little shot, that one, of a camera on a camera. You'll see the world of social media come out this weekend in the New Zealand weightlifting community.
That's good to see. Richie, we saw one competitor yesterday with a cap on, but is there anything else that you were allowed to wear? Like, you wouldn't wear a watch or anything like that anyway, would you? Or jewelry?
You wouldn't want to wear a watch.
What about jewelry, like a ring?
I've
or-
seen a few people wearing a necklace, but you wouldn't want to wear a ring. In fact, I don't think we're allowed to wear rings because it catches the knurling.
Yes, of course.
And if you were to unfortunately miss a lift and your ring was to get caught.
Okay, we don't want to think about that.
So there's knee wraps, wrist wraps. You can wear undergarments, so you can wear. The rules change that you can actually wear a long sleeve compression shirt now. You can wear long compression tights. They can't be branded. They did that because of different cultures around the world,
Yes, of
different religious preferences, to again be available for all athletes to be on the platform.
Yeah. All right, now he is coming back on stage, Vakarua Vula.
It's got Jaden Buckley at the moment. I think they're waiting for Jaden to move up. So there you go, there's the change.
Well, his first lift seemed to be very straightforward and he seemed to have plenty of power. Appear to hold his wrist.
So you can see he's got the one wrist wrap on. So, and he'll be quite connected to that. If he's got a sore wrist, that plays a little bit upstairs. He had good speed under the bar on his first. Let's see how he goes for number two. Good again.
Nice. And he should get approval for that. He does.
Second attempt. Loaders, 115 kilos, please.
And the shoes have to be the official shoes. I couldn't rock up in whatever I'm wearing now, my Pumas that I've got on.
No, you can rock up in your Pumas, but these are specialised shoes that we see on the platform. So there's an elevated heel.
Yeah, and there's a flat as well. We saw one
flat, and no cushioning in them. So what you're trying to do is transfer all of the energy that you're producing down through the floor. So that's why we're lifting on a solid wooden platform, so there's no absorption of energy there.
Right.
And the shoe needs to transfer that through a solid heel. So you'll hear a lot of noise come off the feet because of those solid heels.
Now Leslie Chisholm, 115 kgs.
Leave that tight.
Unfortunately, no lift there. Just
Oh, Aiden's straight up. Oh, Aiden, they've got to put the weights on first.
Tighten down 150 kilos.
And very keen to get up there, Aiden Yushu on 115 kgs.
first two look really good. He's really fast under this barbell. That was just ever slightly forward, but that was actually and if I was a coach, I would say that's a good miss. You don't want to miss that on the comp platform, obviously, but he executed this lift actually really, really well.
He was looking so good.
Yeah, he's in, and then just forward on his toes, the system came back forward, but that certainly wasn't a miss that it was too much for him. It was just a slight line.
So now we are moving up in theory to Carl Davies. Is this Carl Davies?
This is Carl now, yes. Waikato Weightlifting Club, coached by Fee Norton today.
And we're looking at 116 kgs, his first lift here in the snatch, and he is in the 96 kg category.
Word. Beautiful, B said.
That is a beautiful opening attempt there from Carl.
And there's a bit of speed going on now. The loaders, as
116 will remain. This will kick the ball.
and now it's going to stay.
116 kilos is loaded.
That looked very easy there from Carl Davies. And now let's see if Kitane can come out and achieve the same weight. No, I don't think he is coming out. And let's see the next listed athlete, next listed lifter. We're going to Timothy.
Ball is on Timothy now at 116 kilos.
So that is Timothy Vakaruvila.
He wants more. 117 kilos, please, loaders. This will bring the call back to Carl. Continue, please be ready. Thank you, loaders. 117 is loaded. Ball is on Carl.
Carl Davies, we believe, is going to come up next. And that may change as well, because Welsh flag, Welsh towel.
Once more, loaders. 118 kilos. Call goes back to
And the loader's certainly getting a lot of work. Just the 1 kilo each time going up.
They've started to move faster though, haven't they? Look at that. They got called out early in the competition, the loaders, for being a bit slow. Now
I
they're
think Ray's going to be in for a little bit of a dig back from
moving
those
like
loaders.
rockets. I'm looking at them having a laugh about how fast they're going now.
Ray, but watch out. They're going to come for you next. There we have Kitane, 118 kgs. Second lift, successful with the first. A good steady crowd already coming in, considering it's only about 9:15 in the morning so far on Sunday morning. Beautiful morning around the bay. It's looking very good. This way here. Yes. And successful.
118 kilos. 118 tight, please.
So tell me, Richie, is there a particular lift as a first lift that you achieved that just stuck in your mind? Or did the lifts all come together, or is there certain ones that just stuck in your mind for your career or certain...
My athletic career, well, it's always those big international stages when you get your first lift on a Commonwealth or an Olympic platform. It's a massive sense of relief.
And it's one of those will stay in your mind that you can just almost recall.
There's some that are like effortless. I think my best snatch was 100 on competition day. 156 was at the 2014 Oceanias.
Right.
And I remember pulling it off the ground thinking, God damn, this is heavy. And then next thing I was underneath it, and it was a New Zealand, well, it was my lifetime best in competition. So
thinking that it's heavy, but obviously you've gone through the process that everything worked.
You train and you train and you train to make that motor pattern just autonomous, and then you just give it everything, and hopefully it all falls in place.
Indeed. Well, look, here we go. 120 kgs, the first lift here. Funaki.
Oh, that was really powerful. I think it surprised him. It was such a calm approach, and then just hit the go button.
So we have a look at the replay. Let's see what it really was fast.
That's slow motion, and it looks fast.
Yeah.
When you're that strong, you've got to be careful, because he obviously looks like he can move a lot more weight than that. So when you're actually opening on a little bit lighter, you've got to control the barbell, because you overpower it a little bit. I like to compare that to learning how to drive a V8 car. If you've been driving a 1300, you put your foot down on a 1300 and it takes off slowly, but the V8 loses control. So here he is, number 2. Let's see if he's learning to drive.
Well, that was a quick return. Has he learned to drive the V8?
I think he got his clock burned by an athlete that took the 2 minutes rest off him.
Yeah, because that was a very quick return. That was possibly 30 seconds.
Yeah. I'll look through Bixby vision there. Great shot. And he's made that correction.
Much more composed.
So the difficulty that you have when you lose your first one over the back is you try and think about not doing it over the back, and you often leave it slightly forward. And even in this lift, he got in control, but you'll see he takes a couple of steps forward because he did just leave it subtly forward.
Now.
So most athletes would usually miss that because we call it an overcorrection, and they'd get their third, but he's got his second, he's on the board.
Well, he had the strength to adjust, but coming up now on stage, Timothy Vakarui Ula. And almost has a grimace of pain when he's coming up. I'm not sure if it's just his particular style. See there? The breathing.
He's had 2 really good lifts so far.
Pleased with that?
He's pumped. That's a good lift. 3 whites on the referees. I really like his speed.
Yeah, he's happy.
He just stomps that bar out, gets back in control.
That is a great effort to start with.
Just hits that position. He's got long arms too. That's a long way to get that bar up there.
And what he's going to do is go into the clean and jerk. Very happy. 3 successful lifts. And who knows what he can actually lift in the clean and jerk. In fact, we'll have a look, and it's listed at 135 as a starting weight.
He's got momentum, that's for sure.
Yeah. So he's going to be really in contention in that 102 category, isn't he?
Yeah, again, he started below everybody, but consistent, successful lifts just takes you right into the mix of those top lifters.
And Carl Davies from the Waikato coming out again, this time at 121 kgs.
Lift it forward as well. He will get another attempt. A little information about Carl. He's got a pair of club socks that only ever get worn in competition. You can see the Waikato Weightlifting Club socks there. And he also gets on the espresso first thing in the morning on comp day. Quad shot of espresso, so he'll be pretty fidgety out the back between lifts.
When you're trying to calm him down.
Yeah.
Let's have a look now. And Carl is listed to come back. We'll just await if that's going to happen at 121. And in fact, he is coming back. So straight back up and to that 121. Obviously, in the coach, feel very confident. And you wouldn't come back up that quickly without feeling confident about the 121, would you?
Well, he looks positive, so let's... Oh, he just left it forward again. Certainly within his range. We're just looking at his coach. Got the nervous walk around behind us. Yeah.
For you as a coach, I've seen you on the sideline there. You're not too much of a walker. You're
No, I'm a stander and I don't know, I yell things.
not quite as much as Ray Everest, who's a walker, yeller, and he also had a stick in his hand. I don't know where that came from. It was like a ruler.
Here we have Jaden Buckley opening his campaign. First attempt, 122.
He's got it.
It's a good start. Bay Plenty Barbell, one of the local athletes down in the region. It's a really good start.
We're talking about coaches. Oh, there's the smelling salts coming up.
Yeah, there's a whole heap of coaches. And you got one athlete and 3 people tending them. This is New Zealand
can you be overcoached at times?
You can, but most of the coaches understand their athletes. So here we have Kitane. Either, I didn't quite catch that, but this could be a youth New Zealand record. Won 2003, so yes, this will be a youth New Zealand record attempt. 122 kilos. He's made easy work of it.
And let's await the judges. I don't think there's anything they can call him on there.
The referees give him 3 white lines.
There you go. He's happy. And look up to the side there. Our man wearing sunglasses every day, every night.
Anthony Taylor. The world is bright around Anthony.
Exactly. Always full of energy, always smiling.
He's a good character too. I like Anthony.
And that was a very good lift.
He was left waiting because the referee system was down for a second, so an anxious wait looking at the camera, and then he had to turn back to see the manual
Hands
score
on the
come
hips
up.
as he waited.
That 3 seconds, because there's a delay of 3 seconds when the referees make a decision, and then they have the opportunity to change their decision within 3 seconds. Jeez. So that's why there's a 3 second delay. But for an athlete, that 3 seconds is an eternity. Yep.
Well, we've been talking about coaches and commenting on the particular styles. Here we go. We're going up to 125.
Here we go.
We've got everybody out.
We've got they're trying to do a quick change. Oh, Vesta, you've made a mare. Oh no, it's the other team other side that's holding them up.
Oh. The hair got in the way, I think.
The hair got in the way. Should always pull a weight onto the barbell, not a push a weight on the barbell. It's a technique that should be utilised.
Now, we've been talking about the coaches, and we're going up again, up to 126 now, but has there been some coaches that are almost too noisy? Or too enthusiastic, perhaps?
The athlete needs to let the coach know what kind of stimulation they want. If you want someone hyping you up, you let them know. If you don't, you let them know.
Right.
So as a coach, I will ask my athlete, like, what do you want from me today? Like, what keywords So if
So when
you're
they're up on stage,
if you're up on stage thinking tight back, chest up or something like that, the last thing you want your coach is saying rip it off the ground and throw it over the back. So you're trying to align your coaching cues with what the athlete is internally cueing themselves.
yes.
So you're confirming what they want to hear.
Okay.
If you're not in a line with an athlete and you're not confirming what they want to hear, that can throw an athlete.
Well, looking now at Robert Jordan, one of the older competitors in this category, and he's now coming up with a starting weight of 128.
Robert is the defending national champion.
And so then you'd have to say this is a weight that he should be able to achieve first up.
Let's see. Ooh.
Well, he lifted down to the last 5 or so seconds. He was quite assertive about the way he went out there, but
I think that was just nerves more than anything. He left it forward. The strength's there, but you'll just see the whole barbell is left out the front. And he tries to get back underneath it, but you run out of platform pretty quick. So again, I was talking about that. When you see an athlete start to come forward like that, the centre referee's heart skips a beat.
there's really not that much to stop it rolling. We have a
Well, where that bag should be fine. That's a weighted bag in front. That's part of the rules of weightlifting, is that there's a barrier between the platform and the referees, but often, and we've seen it internationally before, it has skipped over the front and the referee has had to practice their 10-metre sprint.
a dive, yeah, that's quite dramatic.
Robert's in a position where he's going to have to follow himself.
Look at his
The next
face there.
lifter is 129, but you'd be risking going up. You want to get into this competition, which Robert is looking to do. Coach Cullum from Otago Weightlifting there. He's been busy this weekend. Large team from Otago Weightlifting here this weekend.
Okay, look at the facial expressions now. Robert Jordan. And he's
This is where
pumped up.
you need to get this lift. You don't want to leave it to your last lift.
But he's a national champion, but he's so pumped up. Almost, do you think he, depends on the person, he almost needs to slow himself down.
He's given himself room. He's going to lift at the back of the platform. He's bought himself an extra metre of running space. This is going to be a pressure lift.
Pressure's
Third
going on
lift.
now.
Defending national champion, and he's 0 from 2. He will have one final attempt, and he needs this to remain in contention.
This didn't look too bad initially.
Just again forward, you can see those shoulders roll forward. He just needs, the coach needs to somehow get him to cue, put it further back, place the bar slightly further back.
And so we can see.
You're having a couple of conversations. Do you go 29? Do you buy more time? Cullum's like, oh, I don't know. You have to make a call within the first 30 seconds.
And is he going to follow himself?
Yes, at this stage. If he moves up, he'll have Jaden. But then, if Jaden was smart, he might
Oh, look at the
push out
face.
to 130.
I can see the face there, and
I wouldn't change this. I would take this weight.
right, just to stay in the comp, so he can come
Yeah.
back in the clean and jerk and do whatever he needs to do there.
Snatch is not too much, but you just got to get on the board. So he will be going through lots of keywords in his head. Very
And
focused look.
Coming down to the last minute. He's ready.
Yeah. Now he doesn't need to change anything here. He just actually needs to execute it properly. So what we don't want to see
Take a
is
look at the scoreboard there. See, that's another look. up at the weight.
He doesn't want to get hyped up here. You've got to just execute the same.
He's got it. He has.
He has got Oh, pressure.
That is Robert Jordan, the defending champion, remaining in the competition.
That's why I was nervous.
Let's have a look at this.
129, then we'll bring Jaden
Wow, it was still forward. He was lucky. That was a good save.
What I found interesting there, Richie, was as he came out, he looked up at the scores.
I think he was just reminding
once or
himself
twice?
of what's at stake here. I think he was going, I want to be the national
And my name's got to continue.
Yes.
I don't want that red line coming through.
Well,
Here we
here's
go.
Jaden to take the 1 kilo lead back. We have got a tight competition. Ooh. Had the strength.
This
So
is very tight now. What do we have?
at the moment, if we're looking at that scoreboard, so you've got Robert 128, you've still got Douglas Zacconi Fraser and Cam Urgut to come in at 130, and then if Jaden can dial in this 129,
Just having a look backstage.
it's going to make an exciting clean and jerk session. That's Cam Urgut there. As you see, he's in the New Zealand suit because he has competed for New Zealand at the World University Champs.
So here we go now as we look at the weights. And coming up, Jaden Buckley on 129 is listed next. Is he going to push that up? Well, he didn't get on
I'd
the...
say he'll take that because
He didn't get on the previous one.
didn't, but if you go up and you miss, you're stuck back at 122.
Oh,
Now you're looking at, if I want to stay in the mix, if I go up, it's a risk. If I don't nail this in, I'm still within that 1 to 2 kilo region of the
Yes.
rest of the lifters. So it's a risk versus reward scenario.
So Jaden Buckley back up on the stage.
I want to see Jaden get this because that will make a very interesting clean and jerk. Oh, same. Almost a repeat of the second attempt.
So that's going to change. Well, it's not really going to change.
So he was in that mix of the 128s to 130s, but now he's back at 122.
Yeah.
So that was the risk versus reward. Do you take small jumps and start accumulating kilos, or do you take that big jump to get in the mix? And he's ended up back at 122 after
I
that.
guess it comes down to what your coach thought you were achieving in the warm-up. And now we are looking at Cam coming out. It's his first lift, isn't it? It is.
130. This is a big opening attempt from Cam, so let's see. Just lost balance under the bar.
It didn't look beyond his actual ability.
No, he received the bar overhead. He just has a little twist at the bottom with that left hip sitting back a little bit.
And now
Douglas Zacconi
first
Fraser.
lift.
So he has a
And not really
unique approach to the barbell.
so he has been coaching a lot out the back previous lifters the last couple of days, hasn't he?
He's been coaching all weekend with Christchurch City Weightlifting.
bit of frustration there.
Didn't look too heavy. He picked the bar up on the rebound and almost put it back up on his shoulders.
So Douglas Ciccone, just let's have a look. Too far forward, or what were you looking at there?
I was just looking at his feet to see where his balance was, but that looked okay. Just wasn't on top of the structure. Here's Cam Urgent's second attempt.
Well, these lifters now really pushing the weights, and we're at 130. So we're looking at Cam coming out. Which club is he from, Richie?
From PB Barbell Club out based in West Auckland. That's a good correction.
And a lot more efficient in that lift. Thumbs up. So let's see where we're pushing it out to now. And Douglas Ciccone Fraser coming back out at 130 after a miss at the first attempt. Pacing on the stage, back and forth. And there's the floor stomp. Looking much better. Yep, there you go. Much better attempt.
3 white lights, so we do have a competition on our hands now. Everybody's in.
3 competitors at 130. Well, we're about to see
This
130.
is a big jump. 120 to 130.
Ooh, gee.
So he'll take... Funaki will take a significant lead.
We missed his first at
In the
120,
102s.
came back second attempt 120, and now we're going up to 130. Certainly seems strong enough, doesn't
He
he?
was very powerful, so I'm sure the weight's within him. Just be containing that line.
And not quite. Certainly whips it off the ground, doesn't he? Really quick.
Real explosive power.
Is that
The same situation, he's left back at 120, so he would have taken a lead by 8 kilos, but now he's actually back in second by 2. We've got 2 lifts remaining in the competition. We've got Douglas Ciccone Fraser at 133.
well, if he can achieve this at 133, that keeps him in, well, second place, or puts him in second place.
No, that will
No?
give him the lead if he gets 133.
Yes, and then with the 135 potential left to come.
Doug's changing his approach every lift, which is unusual.
No good. So he is in second place. I think let's get it down. No. So sitting in second place at the present time now.
So this will be quite a good buffer for Cam if he's successful with this. Carrying 5 kilos over from the snatch into the clean and jerk gives you a bit more control. So let's see what happens.
It's interesting though, the approach of Douglas, changing it every time. I can't quite figure that out.
Consistency and approach is, you can tell an athlete if they're going to be successful by consistency. Just rock back out. So that, what happens with that is that we have a really, really tight competition. So we have Cam on 130, you have Douglas on 130, you have Robert on 128. So he's lucky that he didn't get left behind.
And it's going to be a very exciting clean and jerk
It's gonna
because
be a great
there is a number of lifters who can switch without going too dramatic on their weights. So we're going to look forward to that. We'll be coming back in just 10 minutes time for this, the 96 and 102 men and the clean and jerk. Around about 10 minutes time.
Te moana nui a toi, sure to make you smile.
Well, welcome back in now for this, the clean and jerk for the 96 kg man and also the 102 kg man. A very exciting snatch there, and gee, we were picking for some big weights, 130, 135, but it was really putting a lot of pressure on the lifters. And I think now for the clean and jerk, as we get Ray Everest on the mic. And I believe, Richie Patterson, that this may be the venue for next year as well. Is that confirmed yet?
Yes, we've locked it in for 2 years in a row. So for those at home looking at this image right now, it is a fantastic setup here in Bay Park Arena. Yeah, Tech Bay Park Arena. Lots of support from Tech and Tauranga City Council. And we want to come back here next year with the aspirations of holding an international event here in the future.
Well, one of the great things, particularly when you come from Auckland, is the free parking right outside the venue as well. But no, it does make it easier for people to come along watch, or people to come along if they're competing, or just the setup as well.
It's just something that they do really well down here, is support the arts and sport, and to have that support from Tech and Tauranga and this wonderful facility.
I believe Wayne Werder, one of the bosses here at Tech in Plenty, is coming along, the former squash representative for New Zealand. He'll be here later on today. But in the meantime, let's just take a look at our first lifter, the clean and jerk. We're looking at 120 kgs. Richie Patterson, any issues that you could see there?
Nope. And the referees agree with me. Good way to start the clean and jerks.
And coming out now, Devon Glover, also well, at 121 in fact, moving up. And as we've been talking about venues, sometimes it's good to have a couple of years, 2 to 3 years at a certain venue, because it means any improvements can be made quite easily, and also the local people get used to it and know what to expect and go, gee, that was good last year, let's go back again and bring friends with us to watch.
Well, just, yeah, the setup of this is now, we can see it, we can replicate it, and we can build on it.
Yeah.
So every time you do that, next time I was just literally 5 minutes ago just discussing what could we do slightly different or better, or again, New Zealand weightlifting, we don't receive a lot of funding, so we always look for legacy pieces. Right. What can we purchase to create this event that we can carry over into next year's event and continually add on to these? Kyle, first attempt, 123 kilos.
Well, he did very well on the snatch, achieving his personal best and going over that, in fact. And now 123 kgs. Looking pretty good.
He made hard work of it. The referee's given 3 white lights.
Yeah, that's what we need.
He does have a listed competition personal best of 125. So like his snatch, he's starting very close to his best on the competition platform. We just had a bet paid out. Thank you, Izzy.
Should I ask what that was for?
Oh, I'm a believer in motivation. So
But how you won, so you got the motivation?
My athletes often, we challenge each other. So one of my lifters yesterday, she needed to get her final lift, and I would then pay for her dinner that evening.
Right.
But if she didn't get that lift, she would bring what is kindly sitting at the desk right now, which we won't talk about, but that's
So you got your due reward, and she is probably slightly annoyed with herself. Firstly, that she didn't achieve the lift. Secondly, that she had to pay out to you.
yes.
And you're looking very smug right now. If we had a camera on your face, it would show that you are feeling very smug and very happy. In the meantime, let's see if we can get a little bit of happiness coming out of, is it Glover coming up? Devin Glover. And let's just see where he's at. 126 kgs. First lift of the clean and jerk.
Had to hold that overhead for a long time. He's got 3 white lights. As mentioned earlier, he has represented New Zealand at underwater hockey, and this is his first weightlifting competition. So he qualified in his first competition, whether that was a physical one or he was part of the postal. He owns a gym called the Fitness Portal.
Whereabouts is that gym? I think we mentioned, is it on the North Shore or no? I don't know. We'll have to look that one up.
Facility that he's training out of.
Fitness Portal. We'll have to look that up.
41 degrees weightlifting, so I'd say he's in Wellington. Hayden's the hole. First attempt, 126.
Let's check on White. Yes, we got White, and we did mention the Fitness Portal. Is that the correct name that you mentioned there somewhere?
Yes.
Okay, well that is in Lower Hutt, and just check that out.
Reno, first attempt, 127 kilograms on the bar. As mentioned, Reno has a building background, so will carry a lot of the strength over to the weightlifting platform. Coach Chris Gibbs tells him hold, and he does, and he gets the majority decision.
And what would the judge, I think it's Kelsey there, and the judge that went red card, what would she...
I think a little bit soft, and you can see Coach Chris Gibbs going, yeah, that was a little bit soft overhead. Just watch these elbows. Just as ever so subtle, but as I said, these referees have got their eagle eyes on today.
And as we look up now, 127 is our lowest lifting weight. We're going all the way up to 160. And of course that's Douglas Sikoni Fraser checking in at 160 will be his first off weight. But in the meantime, coming up onto the stage, Leslie Chisholm is at 127.
Time to steady himself there. Referees say good lift.
I was just looking at his reaction afterwards, and I think he's pleased now, but initially as he walked off the stage after the lift, I think it was in two minds almost.
Let's have a look at his body language when he puts it down. He's made to hold it for a long time.
Yeah, just look at that.
Yeah,
Just like,
I think it was more of the look of I just held
yeah.
120 plus kilos above my head for 30 seconds.
Yeah. What was possibly 1, maybe 2 seconds, but it felt like 30, didn't it?
Yeah. I've been in that situation where the referees are waiting for you to get your feet in line and under control, and it feels like forever.
Do you ever want to not so much have a go at the referees, but make a comment?
You're not allowed to make a comment.
No,
That's one of the rules of Olympic weightlifting. You are not allowed to comment back to the referees.
Could you get your coach to do it?
No. You're not allowed to have any interaction with the referees.
Right.
Rule. Here we have Kyle, second attempt, 128 kilos.
Oh, those legs.
And he's been given a down signal.
What are they going to get? Oh, they gave him. That was a quick return there on the positive. Jeez.
That's a really good lift for Kyle. It gives a high five to the coach out the back.
He was.
That's a big dip. Look how deep he goes in that dip. Oh, it's a long turnaround.
The legs.
And again, this will feel like an eternity holding a weight above your head like that.
Well, I think they had to make sure that he had it under control. Now, we've been talking about not being able to comment to the judges, to the refs. Could you protest any decision? Is that something that gets done?
So there is a new protocol in international weightlifting where you have a challenge card.
Right. Okay.
So a challenge card is if you were to receive a lift and it was a good lift or a no lift, you can challenge to change that call. So you can potentially challenge an athlete that is not your athlete. So if you saw an athlete get a lift, you could throw a challenge card that you believe that wasn't a good lift. You only get one, or you can challenge your own athlete as well. I might be wrong on this, but I believe that's
quite
the rules.
intriguing. $130 kgs on for the lift now. Has he controlled it?
No, he hasn't. The referees gave a down signal early, which usually signifies that they're not happy with his execution of it.
So if we have a look at the replay and take me through.
He just never quite hit structure on this, so you'll see it gets overhead, but those elbows are soft. There,
Just the
and
drop
then he
there.
tries to hold it, and they're pressing, and the referees probably gave him a down signal about now, which said we're not quite happy with how stable that was.
Okay, so Richie, you're mentioning about how you have the one card to ask for
A challenge.
Yeah,
So,
challenge.
so that's on the international platform. We don't enact that rule here at a national event. It's quite a time-consuming process,
yeah.
and you have to have a slow motion replay. So
Right.
in international events, they now have a replay for the jury, which is an additional 5 judges that watch that and would then make that decision.
Because when we're getting to Olympic level, there is so much scrutiny and so much intensity around decisions as we come to medal rounds or making it into the medal rounds. I guess you do need that extra set of eyes.
Yeah, you do. It does create a little bit of controversy because when you watch things in slow motion,
Yeah, well, you see something different. Actually.
Yeah, you
It's
do.
not the same, is it?
no, you can see those subtleties rather than a real-time decision.
Right, well, Devin Glover now for 131 kgs.
He's popped up. Good lift. PB, he just said. PB, baby. 121 for Reno. Bars low. Clock is set up. Once more, 131 remains low.
So here's Kyle for his third. Now this would be a personal best for Kyle, an all-time personal best. So this is a new number for him. He's never lifted 131 before.
Well, his form so far in the clean and jerk has been
I think he'll get it up to his shoulders. It's that overhead stability that we'll look for right now.
That's going to be close. Is it going to be a close call?
Let's wait and see. Referee's decision is a good lift. Majority decision.
That is impressive.
As I said, it wasn't overly
was enough.
confirming, but it was enough. Big long dip. Lands it. Oh, it's just manages that right arm. Again, in slow motion we can see that, but in real time it's harder to see, so he got the benefit.
And now coming up, Kavan. And he's targeting 131 kgs. He's in the 96 kg category. That's looking good. I think everybody's happy. And we're getting up to the big weights now. 131 up to 132. As we look at Aiden Zhu in the 102 category. He went from 126, now up 6 kilos. As we just see the replay. Gavan there. And very successful. So Aiden Zhu doesn't muck around, going to the chalk and then straight up. 132 kgs. That's good. Yes. And let's have a look for the signal. Oh, no. That's all 3 reds. It's not good. And a little bit of a jog off the stage. Richie Wong saying, next time, let's have a look at where we're at. And just he realised in the end. So who are we up to now? We're up to Reno coming back for his second attempt. So about halfway through. This is the clean and jerk for the men's 96 kgs and also the men's 102 kgs coming up in session 9 starting from 11. Come back to that. All 3 judges happy with that lift there. And as we're mentioning, coming up at 11:45, 10 lifters in the women's 87 and women's 87 plus. We've got a couple of good lifters who are going to compete in that. A couple of Commonwealth Games type lifters. And also then from 2 p.m. the final session, it is session 10. And there's some big boys to compete there. Men's 109 and men's 109 plus. But in the meantime, we are back with the 96 and 102. And Leslie Chisholm up on the stage for 132 kgs. Happy with that?
Referees say no lift, unfortunately.
So Richie, as we check the replay on that, where did he go wrong on the replay?
Yeah, just soft elbows. Just, I know
Yeah,
it seems slow, but he just pressed them out. He did a good job actually of pressing it out really slowly. But the referees,
they were aware of it. They were watching.
They were watching it.
So
it's good to celebrate, like really celebrate. Maybe throw a couple of like yes words in there as you're recovering to distract the referee.
It's going to have to be one heck of a distraction, and we do have Aiden as you're coming up now. He's on 132 as well. So 132, and then we're getting into the 135s and onwards from there. Two and one. There you go. Oh, he didn't achieve his first. Let's have a look now as we go up to 133. And Reno. And, no, it's not going to go 133. Go higher than that. As we look backstage, and there's our loaders in good form. In fact, they both have been in good form off the loading stage as well in a competition. Just awaiting the games backstage. A lot of coaches and lifters around the officials. But up on stage now, Alexandra, and he's looking, Richie, for 135 on this clean and jerk. We're starting to pick up the pace a little bit now, aren't we? We're pace and also the weight as well. The challenge is going in from the lifters and also the coaches. Are we happy?
His decision says good lift.
Yes. And holding for quite a while, what seemed like quite a while. And Richie, any particular pattern here? Nothing much, we're just pushing the 130s up a bit, aren't we?
I'm just looking at Funaki. He's got 120, but he's got a 150 opener, so
We've
Timothy's going to struggle to push up towards that 150. He's got a big jump then. Then you've got Kitane as well. We'll start to see some real technical 1 kilo jumps coming through shortly.
So Devon Glover, he's now at 135. And it will be his final lift.
He's made hard work of that clean.
And is he going to have the strength?
Oh, what a save.
Is he good?
I think he's good. I'd give it to him. Yep.
Yes. All right.
Very rare to see an athlete clean like that. I think even he knows it.
He's a bit relieved.
Like, man, that was a hard clean. It was even thought of his shoulders where it's sitting like that. He just has that upper body bulk that he manages to save this lift.
So when you put so much work into the clean, it quite often takes away the energy or what you need to go with the jerk. Is that right?
Absolutely, and mainly your confidence, because you're standing out going, oh gosh, this is heavy. And as soon as your brain clicks over into that, you can often go into what we call a protection mode. So your lift becomes a little more risk adverse.
So it's a subconscious thing. Your brain's going, I don't want to get hurt.
Yeah, get yourself out of danger because you're in a hard situation right now.
Yeah, with 130 odd kilos over your head or on your shoulders.
Just looking at that, he got plenty of height on the bar, but we'll see in the replay all of his weight was on his toes when he received the bar. This is it's a hard sport, but it's not ballet, unfortunately.
I can imagine if you were going to ask some of these lifters to try for ballet, that maybe
All of that pressure on his toes, and it's just hard to regain that. You've got to have that pressure through the full foot to stand that out.
Coming up now, Reno for his final lift at 100 and what are we at? 137. Well, he's made a couple of decent jumps, 5 kg jumps each occasion.
It's a nice clean. Couldn't quite get the height on that bar to get enough space to lock out underneath, but he's got to be happy with that. He had a pretty good day.
We'll be satisfied with 132, his most successful lift.
His first nationals with only 5 months of training, so I'm going to assume that most of that training was probably during this COVID lockdown stuff as well. So
yeah, at home.
At home. So he'll be pretty happy about how that's gone.
And Vakurula coming up now. Very powerful. Although his build is a bit more longer, if you want to put it that way, rather than more the solid, more squat.
He has got some very long legs, so this clean has to come a long way off the ground.
And how the judge is going to see that? They're going to see it in a positive light, aren't they?
Yeah, good lift. I was going to say long legs, but strong legs. He didn't have any issues standing that up.
The interesting thing with Vakurula is that he doesn't necessarily give you a real positive vibe when he comes up to the bar. He almost looks apprehensive in many ways. But we don't know what is going on in his own brain or what is happening there. But
It's quite a unique transformation that he goes. So he has that look of, nervousness, but as soon as he touches the bar, switches on.
yeah. I mean, it doesn't. I guess it doesn't matter to us out here. It's what he's thinking.
Oh, 100%.
But you really notice it compared to some of the others who are so much energy coming out and putting out this positiveness to everybody else. And yet he comes out and he's doing very well.
We have the inverted U hypothesis, which is the state of arousal that you perform best in. So some athletes, they come out and they're half asleep, that particularly is myself, and then that works really well for the execution of their lifting. Others need to be walking out, slapping thighs and making noise, and that works for them. So athletes will trial that over many years to see what is my optimal state to lift in. If you get hyped up, you often lose focus of the key words, you add words in. If you're half asleep, you don't finish your lift. So you've got to find that right.
Yeah. And it's not an instant thing that just, gee, I've got it sussed, I know what I'm going to do. Sometimes it takes...
Took me 10 plus years to figure mine out. So we're seeing jostling now going out the back. So you'll see the competition slow down a little bit now because, as you can see, all of the coaches are reading the scoreboard.
Well, we've got a couple of 140s now. There's 2 on 140, and that's going to change. And that is Alexandra and Vakaravula coming up at 140 each. And which one there? We've got Alexandra coming out first. And this is going to be interesting, 5 kgs up. He's done fairly well there.
Looks good to me, and he gets white lights. Centre referee Paul Poland's doing a fantastic job. We are having a couple of technical issues with the down signal, and she has certainly taken control of the centre referee position, which you need to do when the system
so that is
plays
the,
up.
well, I shouldn't say main position, but it's that the leading position.
The centre referee is you've got the best view, and you are in charge of the referees should the system's not play. So at the moment, every time Pole deems the lift complete, if there's no noise, she will call the lift down.
And there we are with the measurement of the belt again. Jody Mason just checking measurements. So if someone had a slightly larger belt, how would that give them the advantage if they were able to get away with it?
There's no real advantage to a larger belt. If anything, it'll be more restrictive on their movement, but it's just a technical rule, just to make sure that you're not coming out with a full back brace on or something like that. So there are a couple of little rules with regards to wrist wraps, knee wraps, belts, any assistance equipment that you have to stay within certain parameters, and it just allows that consistency across the board, both nationally and internationally.
What about conditions within a stadium? Have you competed, when you competed overseas, in some stadiums that were either very warm?
The international standard is that it's at 23 degrees.
Right. But you must have competed in a couple that were not.
I've been in Fiji and been suffering.
Yeah, because losing potentially that sweat while you're waiting.
Just the nature of where we train as well. If you're training in 23 degrees and all of a sudden you're in your mid-30s, it has a massive impact. And usually when we're in those environments, you just see the scoreboard is mislifts, consistent mislifts, especially in the clean and jerk, because you're bearing that load on your shoulders when you're under some heat exhaustion, and you start to see a lot of people becoming quite faint.
Well, I can understand that because they can do that anyway with the weight there. In the meantime, up to 145 kgs for Vakaravula. Did he keep it together there in the arms? Yep. Yes, he did. Oh, that's impressive. It actually puts him in first place in the 102 kgs.
This is Italy's opening innings. So as far as
So we saw on his left arm there a little bit of wavering, but it didn't.
Didn't unlock, so
Right.
that was a really good save actually.
Katuni, 146.
It's opening attempt, so this is going to give him good control of the
Well, this would
competition.
give him the lead. I think it would. Well, the lead just on the clean and jerk anyway.
No, he's got the lead in the snatch as well, so. Just remember, everyone at home, we're watching a youth athlete here. Some massive weights for a youth athlete.
He's good. Very arms certainly in quite tight. Maybe it's just.
No, that's fine for him. Like he has this consistent grip. He wasn't too restricted. He locked that out really nicely.
Yeah, what we have is someone with the shoulders there, just their build, that it can stay in tight. Others seem to spread a bit more depending on the length of the arms. Is that right?
The length of the arms, mobility in the shoulder girdle as well. We have Alex coming up for his third attempt, 146. Currently sitting in third place overall.
And 146 kgs, Alex. Pretty impressive.
And 3 white lights.
We mentioned before, Richie Patterson, about the warm conditions such as Fiji. Has there been any conditions, any stadiums that you've been in that have just seemed a lot colder than the... Yeah, I'm seeing a yes there.
My last event before the Beijing Olympics, I was training in Finland. I used to train in a place called Rovaniemi, which is on the Arctic Circle.
Why?
And I had a coach that was based out of Finland, and he decided that we would do an event that was called Dooni. It was a weightlifting event on the side of a sand dune, and it was blowing a northerly wind in Finland, and the northerly wind was straight off the Arctic, and holy heck, that was freezing. And I didn't have a good comp because the platform wasn't even flat. I missed my lifts and felt like I got so hypothermia? Hypothermia?
Yeah, hypothermia would have
Oh my
been.
gosh, it was, and he couldn't understand why I was complaining.
So the relationship between coach and student on that occasion wasn't the best?
He was enthusiastic, I can say that much. Here we have Cam Urgent, first attempt, 150 kilograms. It's a good jerk.
Pretty happy with that, he should be.
So he had the lead in the men's 96 kilo after the snatch with success on 130. So that gets him in the competition. However, he will have to keep an eye on the other athletes. We've got higher entry lifts in the clean and jerk. So we might see some significant jump come from Cam for his second attempt.
We're going back now to, where are we going?
Funaki.
Yes, 150 coming out. We know he's got plenty of speed in the lift. It's just about the control, certainly on the snatch, that he lacked a little bit of control at times, didn't he?
This will put Funaki in the lead.
In the 102?
In the 102 for the time being.
So let's see if he can control his speed.
I'd say he's going to power clean this. He's very strong. I think so. Referees were happy with it.
He just seemed to have to adjust his feet a little bit at the end.
He got given it pretty quickly, so the referees were happy with it, but then he lost a bit of balance. So even if you get the lift right here, he got it. They told him to put it. If you drop that behind you, it will be reversed. The decision will be reversed. You have to drop the barbell.
Right, okay. Yep.
So you can be given the lift, but then if you lose control and drop it behind you, that will be reverse decision.
Okay. So we're up to 150 now. I think we're on the borderline here, because that last lift.
I don't know why he said he should take 151, because he's equal now with Funaki.
Okay, but the last lift was quite a bit of pressure.
Worked hard for that. Ooh.
I think, as you mentioned, he might have worked a little too hard.
He's pretty happy how he's gone though. I don't think that was your upstairs, mate. I think that was just a really heavy barbell for you.
Yeah. And he put so much energy into the clean that couldn't push off
Good
enough.
smiles
And
out
you
the
could
back
see
from his team. He's got good support. That's great. He just took so much out on that clean that I don't think there was anything left for the jerk.
you could see it there, couldn't you?
Ooh, he's a
Yeah. Ooh, that was heavy.
So now we have Kitane. Now if Kitane's successful with this 151, he will regain the lead over Funaki.
Yeah.
However, Kitane's moved up and he's forced Funaki to make a decision.
Well, you can see it's between the two of them there, really, just pushing each other along.
But this is for the national title. These next 4 lifts in that.
Indeed. I know we're going up to the 96 now, or down to the 96.
Carl Davies.
And
Carl got married 2 days ago.
oh, really?
Yeah. So congratulations, Carl, and new wife.
A patient wife.
I can't say his preparation was the best because it was on Friday the 13th.
Well, someone's very patient, saying, okay, let's get married, right? Okay, I'm off, see you.
Yeah.
Well, you can come to the Mount with me.
Maybe this is the start of the honeymoon.
Well, we've taken it at the Mount then. Could be worse places.
Good jerk.
That's got to be given the all good, and it is 152 kg.
I think if we see him stand anything up, it looks like it's going to go overhead. He thinks it caught him a little high on the neck. Maybe that's what he was saying out the back.
Let's see where it goes.
Sometimes you see that little knurling mark on front of the neck.
Almost got caught up in his beard.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's all right. That barbell can be quite sharp in the middle though, a new one.
I've seen a couple of lifters the last couple of days with red marks going across.
Here's Jaden Buckley, first attempt, 153.
Must be pushing the limit for Jaden Buckley.
Left elbow. Given the down signal from the central referee.
Seems pretty happy. A bit of a check there.
And majority decision, good lift.
See quite a bend in the barbell there.
So it's the Oceania record we hear coming up. That's not an Oceania record. We're just looking back at the previous lift. So we have now Kitane
And the smelling salts. Don't forget to take off your...
attempting an Oceania record. So I would believe this will be an Oceania youth record attempt. And the men's 102 kilo division. So this is an athlete that is under the age of 17, and this is 153 kilograms.
That's crazy.
What do the referees say? Wait for it. Oh, unfortunately no lift. I thought that when I was looking at that elbow, the right elbow was in and out.
Wow. And we're just looking at the referees. And,
Yeah, let's have a look. You'll see, just keep your eye on his right elbow here. Just that, it's hard to see from this angle, but there was a little soft elbow and he pressed it out as he recovered.
Well, his observation as well, he's looking there.
Yeah, he didn't celebrate, so I think he knew that. It's when you just walk off celebrating.
Yeah.
I know it seems silly, they've already made their decision, but
Well, it's also sometimes you know that you've got it. You don't almost,
if your
you don't have
body
to wait.
language tells the referees what to do, it's made their job much easier.
Yes, of course. And look at the gathering around the officials there.
They're all counting numbers. What everyone's doing is, what does this equal? And
There we go. It's the full cruise out.
oh, we got a
No,
race.
we got one left. As you say, no.
I'm predicting right to win this one. Yeah, they're ahead on the collar, and right takes the win of the
yes.
bar loading championships.
Well, we had one of the crew there just sitting there watching the others. So the loading crew working very hard. But in the meantime, behind this backstage, we are seeing a lot of... who's meant to be
Got
coming
Cam
up?
Ergant
No.
being called. Well, let's move to Funaki. Sorry, Funaki's being called. Ergant moved up. So now we see the jostling of kilos. 1 kilo makes a big difference.
And it also holds time, or creates a bit of time, doesn't it?
So Kitini moved up. They got the weight overhead, but wasn't successful with the technical execution. He's moved up.
And at the present time, Carl Davies is scheduled as the next lifter. Is that going to stay that way?
So here's the record attempt again. Kitini's moved up from 153 to now 155 kilograms. This
Smelling salts? Yeah.
again is an attempt at an Oceania youth record.
Well, you got one judge going for
I think he's capable of this. It's just getting that technical execution correct. He looks pretty focused. Clock clicks past 30 seconds.
He'll use all of the time he needs.
Unfortunately, just pulled him out of position off the ground onto his toes, and it just left the whole barbell forward right from the start. Often a coach can look at that off the ground and go, oh, it's not going to happen. And we'll see this in the replay.
So what are we looking at here?
Just onto his front of his toes too early, and that just pulls him back forward again. Plenty of strength, and I think this is his last year as a youth athlete, so that might be his last opportunity to take that record as well.
And in the meantime,
The newlywed, Carl Davies.
and
Take another opportunity.
a little bit frustrated there.
Just Costa's what we call a rack position. So his elbows just come in. You'll see his pinkies pop out from the barbell. So he loses his grip in that rack position. If we just look at his hands, that pinky popping out, that wrist turns in. And as soon as the wrist turns in, you lose all of your mid-spine and all of that load goes forward. So just try and get those elbows up and out a little bit more. We'll pull him into a better receiving position. You can see Fee just talking about that right there.
There you go.
Don't lose your back position. Set that mid-spine a little harder. So we're on the same wavelength.
Well, Richie Patterson, we're looking at a minimum lift now of 156. Then we have 157 and 158. We still have remaining.
So Carl
160.
currently is sitting in third, but there are 2 athletes yet to come into the competition. So that will change your ranking.
And one of those is Douglas Saccone Fraser, sipping at 160 to start, and Robert Jordan, the defending champ, who only just made it through though. He was very tight on making it through to the clean and jerk.
So here we have Carl Davies. Let's see if he can make that correction. He's been given all of the cues, the coaching tips.
Well, you gave him some as well.
Let's see if he can execute this.
He's going to recover.
I reckon he'll jerk it. Yep. I think he's good.
And let's check on the judges.
Referees wait for their decision.
And a big hug there.
Keep pulling. Yeah, that was the best cue of the day. Keep pulling. That's,
Well,
it's
the
pretty
advice
simple in
worked.
there. I've heard one person say before, get it above your head. And I was like, yeah, that's a really wise cue. But as soon as I saw his first jerk earlier, I thought if he can stand anything up, he'll put it overhead. So well done, Carl.
And coming out for 157 is Cam. And what are we expecting here? Looks always got that determination on his
It's a
face.
big
hasn't
jump. It's a big jump from his opening attempt. He stood it up. I don't think so. I think that right arm, the left arm, sorry.
Yeah, he knew that one. But he just struggled. You don't have to be exactly front on anyway, do you?
No,
to judge it?
if
But
you twist, you can literally be facing the back of the platform and perform your split jerk.
Right.
And as long as you get your feet back in line, you can still be facing the other direction.
Well,
So you'll see he's got a bit of a twist on. You don't need to be perfectly square to the referees. I have seen an athlete perform a full 360 with the barbell above their head before.
gee, the strength that they must have had to do that.
Yeah, I don't know if he was doing it because or he was just showing off. I don't know what it was, but
What a show off. whatever weight he had to do that is that's ambitious.
so now we're going to get into the real tussle.
So don't expect this to flow.
Yeah, this is going to slow down.
It's gonna, there's going to be a lot of jostling, I think, between all the lifters here.
So Robert Jordan come in at 158? I don't see him even out the back yet. So I'm going to assume that he's going to jump up. He does, 160.
And we're seeing,
Cam,
for us, a lot of...
I think Cam will move up
changes.
to 160 because he's currently on the platform ranked first. He's got 8 kilos over Buckley. Gosh, this is going to be tactical.
So Robert Jordan and Douglas Saccone Fraser, they're both at 160 now. Now
If I was Cam Urgut right now, I'd move to 160 and force these other athletes out on the
there
platform.
we go, we've got another 160 coming up.
Yeah, so that's what happened. Urgut won't take this. He will go to 160. He potentially shouldn't have made that change to
And
59.
the race is on here with our loaders. Bit of a smile.
So Urgut moved from 58 to 60, which is a declared change. So now he's lost the opportunity to take a couple of extra. So he's not in the driver's seat for this last lift.
But then he hasn't lifted for a little while, so he should be rested enough.
Yeah.
But now we've got
Coney Fraser.
yep, all pumped up.
So he's equal with Urgut on 130 in the snatch. So Doug gets this, you'd expect Cam Urgut to move to 61.
But 160 was his starting choice pretty much from the word go.
Yeah. And this should be comfortable for Douglas.
Oh, it's a double stamp.
This is for the lead. I think he's happy with that. Looks at the referees.
Yep.
The referees say good lifts. So you'll now see Urgut move to 61. You will also see Robert Jordan. Now Robert Jordan is 2 kilos behind it in the snatch, so he could move his opener to 163 or come into the competition at 60. And he is going to come in.
He's coming in pretty quick too.
So he's going to just firstly get on the board and then make those decisions on second and third attempts.
Okay, and our defending champion.
Didn't do well in the snatch.
He
He
really did struggle.
He did. The great thing about the clean and jerk is the accuracy is you can be a little bit less accurate. You can be strong. Wasn't overly convincing, but I think you'll get the lift.
Yes.
Yeah, majority
2-1.
decision.
So a good start this time.
So now that will give him the opportunity to make those jumps. Now, he was 2 kilos behind both Coney Fraser and Urgut in the
He's coming out
snatch,
now. Funaki coming out. 160.
Funaki will...
Oh, he's out already.
Well, he's already secured the win.
He's going to give 160 a go and just chalking up.
So this, he's secured the win in the category already. So now he has a little less pressure on him. So we're going to see a very easy clean again.
Quick reactions from the referees.
Three white lights.
Right.
Success.
Just a quick speed that he gets it off the ground is quite remarkable.
Doesn't waste time, that's for sure. Yeah, explosive power through that extension.
And Richie, I can see, I think that's Cam McTaggart over there, who's just come in, sitting in the front row to watch his fellow lifters as we come up to 160 now. Jaden Buckley. And where's he sitting in the competition, Richie?
He's currently 4th, so this will propel him to a 282 total.
And already up to the bar.
And that would move him into 3rd place.
Push, go clean, let's go!
Looking at that left elbow. Referees say majority decision.
And a bit of support there for
That
Buckley
changed the
behind us.
leaderboard. That put Jaden into 3rd place, and that puts Cam Urgut into 4th place. However, if Cam chooses to take this, that
Well,
moves
it's
him
Cam
back
coming
up.
out now. And he's taking 160.
I think he should have taken 161.
At the
Maybe he
moment,
ran out of changes.
well, at the moment on the board, 160.
So this would move Cam back into a 290 total and place him 2nd. Unfortunately, no lift. I think that was an elbow touch.
And clutching the neck there as well.
So if we look at this, he was straight away pretty disappointed. So he might have touched the elbow and the knee in the clean, which is against the rules. Let's have a close look at that. Ooh, rules close, but no, I just think he lost position in the clean.
And what is he
So
indicating?
ultimately, that clean of 160 or 161 didn't have any effect anyway, and so we have our podium already set. Now it's just where do you finish on the podium.
And 3 of our boys there, you can see them sitting back there looking quite relaxed as well. These are the 3 lifters who are all competing with each other.
So you have 2 athletes, Douglas Saccone Fraser
Yes.
being called on 164. If he's successful, that will force Robert Jordan to have to take 3 kilos more than him.
Well, he's coming up now. And let's see his pre-lift routine. He's got it under control. I think he's got it.
Yes, he's in good control of this competition now. Okay, so now Robert Jordan already has second. Jaden Buckley's going to need to move to overtake Robert. He's going to need to move up an additional 7 kilos, so that's going to force Jaden Buckley through to 167.
Right, at the moment he's at 164. That's what he looks to be
Now
scheduled at.
Robert Jordan is moved to 167 because he needs 3 kilos over Saccone Fraser. So if
Here
I
we are.
think we'll see Jaden move up. Jaden will move up. I'm going to make that call before the computer makes that call.
There you go. And no, it won't.
He moved 6'5".
There we go.
I think he's buying more time.
Well, there's a lot of lifters out there, a lot of loaders out there at the moment.
Jaden needs a 289 total. So he needs to move to 67. Well, he's going to take 65. So he's going to lock in
So there's a bit of a safer option.
safe option, yeah.
And we've got the coaches coming up behind us. You'll hear a couple of calls very shortly.
Good effort.
We spent a lot of energy getting through the clean. Just couldn't quite get his
Okay,
feet
so
right.
now the next lift is quite critical. This is the opportunity for Robert Jordan to
Second.
take the lead.
Well, it has been a real jostling between that first, second and third there. We're still after positions, but Jordan, if he grabs this, we're up to 167 now.
So at this stage, Robert Jordan has 2 attempts, so he has 2 opportunities to take the lead. He's got his headphones on. He might have forgotten about that.
Yeah, no, coach chasing him. No,
He's in the zone. He is in
Oh, no,
the zone.
okay.
Now he's out of the zone.
Yeah. You can see the coach chasing him, literally saying, get those off. He wasn't listening.
I thought we were about to witness the first ever clean and jerk with headphones on in a national.
I'm not sure. Would that be? Wow.
If they're of cultural significance, those headphones for the lead. Oh, he's got the clean. say
No, I got a shake of the head from one of the referees.
3 red lights.
Yeah.
Oh, he got it overhead. Well, the issue is that he's going to take this again, and he's only going to get a short break, and that wasn't light.
You can see the work there.
That's where you just wish you just snuck those elbows in a little bit quicker. Just so close.
And as we heard, that is the start of the 2-minute clock. This is where the pressure really goes on.
Yeah, and you don't move up.
For the defending champion.
You don't move up. You take that lift. Hey.
So, if Sakoni Fraser does achieve his 170,
he'll win.
Yeah, he's
locks it
got
in.
it. If he can achieve that, he's definitely got it. If he doesn't,
no, he's still winning.
Oh yes, he is.
Robert needs to get this lift to leapfrog.
Yeah. And we still have one other lifter to go.
Yeah, he's sitting out the back getting cold.
Yeah.
Oh, these other guys play a game of weightlifting.
And
it's quite a hard position to take 10 kilo jumps because he came into the competition so early for Naki, and now he's almost still lifting 25 minutes after his first lift.
He seems to be quite happy. Oh, that's probably a joke coming in from Jody there.
Jody, yeah, he's quite relaxed.
Oh, to try and defend your title, he does seem very relaxed and winding down the clock as much as he can to get a
I'm
little bit of
watching
time.
Coach Cullum pacing back and forth. Maybe he's wearing all of the nervousness.
He's taking it.
Robert, based out of Wellington, training out of Urban Fitness in Central Wellington.
But he's wearing the Otago.
So he's coached and programmed by Cullum, who you can see out the back with him. A lot of these athletes have remote coaching options.
Is that a... Well, I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing, but...
Ultimately, you'd like your coach to be present with you, but if you feel that's your best option, then you go with what you feel works for you. And I know Cullum's doing a great job with a lot of his remote athletes.
Okay, and ready now for 167. This is the last attempt for Robert Jordan, the defending champion. And it is in the 96 kg class. We get 2 more sessions to come, and they're going to be very good sessions as well.
Unfortunately, he's going to have
a disappointment there.
Settle for the silver medal this year, and that gives Douglas Sakoni Fraser the national title with a lift to go. So,
well, how will he feel about that, Douglas? Because he doesn't want to think about that now, does he? He wants to focus on this next lift.
You don't want to think about it, but you will think about it.
Right, okay.
So he will know now.
So he does know.
And he will hit potentially the relax button as well, which under 170 kilos is not a good button to press.
No, that's what I was thinking. Oh, we've got Funaki coming out, who has won everything that he needs to win.
So this is a free lift for Funaki, 170.
Sounds amazing when we're saying 170, and it's a relaxed.
There's always a little bit of kudos that goes with having the biggest clean and jerk in your session. So
I can imagine.
That's what we're looking at here.
Not quite. Acknowledges the crowd, acknowledges the officials as well.
We have our final lift remaining. Sakoni Fraser.
So what are the placings going to be then, Richie? We're going to have first Sakoni Fraser, second will be Robert Jordan, and third?
In third we have Jaden Butler.
All right, and looking for a bit of support here for his final lift. pretty hyped up, even though it doesn't count as such.
Well, he's already locked in the national title, but always good
See
to
the
see an
stomp.
athlete.
There we go.
Oh, it's a good fence.
Oh,
Very close.
look at that, the hands on the hips. He gave it a good go.
That's a well-deserved win and national champion for 2020, Douglas Saccone Fraser.
And congratulations there to all of our lifters in the men's 96 and 102 kg classes. Gee, we saw some great lifts there, didn't we, Richie Patterson?
Well, that was came right down to the last couple of lifts, that's for sure, and that's what we like to see on the national platform.
And we did see a couple of records in there as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
Earlier on, and Katini was in there for a youth record, and certainly some great competition there. We'll be coming back at around about 11:45 for the women's 87 and women's 87 plus. That's at 11:45, around about 40 minutes away.